Hi guys, it's Kino. Welcome to another video. So in today's Pick a Card reading, we are going to be checking in with your higher self and getting some advice for your goals and your manifestations in the year ahead. When this video is going up, it is early 2024. So if you're watching this video when it's going up, then this will be your reading for the year 2024. However, of course, you can watch this video at any time of the year, whenever you happen to find it. You can think of this as your forecast for the next year from whenever you are watching. Actually, let me just go ahead and show you guys the list because there's a few different things that we're gonna get into. Basically, we are going to see what your main area of focus should be in the year ahead, what sort of energy you should embody. We are going to see what your current energy is and what that is attracting into your life. And then we will ask your higher self what changes you could make in order to attract better results into your life, and what would those results be. And then finally, any additional messages or advice that your higher self may have for you. So there are 4 readings for you guys to choose from today. I'm going to show you each of these crystals up close one by one, and then please pick whichever one you feel drawn to the most. If you are drawn to more than one, that is totally fine too. Please feel free to watch any and all that you feel drawn to today. But without further ado, let's get a close-up look at each of your options. Number 1 is Strawberry Quartz. Number 2 is Honey Calcite. Number 3 is Azurite with Malachite. And number 4 is Agate. Okay, so as always, take all the time you need to pick. You can pause the video if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with number 1. Hi number 1s, so if you guys chose the Strawberry Quartz, this is going to be your reading. Just in case you didn't see it in the intro, this is the full list of everything that we're going to be covering in today's reading. I won't read through the whole thing again, but feel free to pause if you want to read through the list and see what we are getting into today. But without further ado, let's get started. These are the 2 decks that we're going to be using. So we're going to start with the Prisma Visions Tarot, and then at the end of the reading, we will pull some cards from the Your Wise Animal Body Oracle. Together, these 2 decks are the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle that I've curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I have done many seasonal bundle collaborations with Tarot Stack, which I'm so grateful for, but I think this one has to be one of my favorites. I just love these decks individually. I love them together. I've done another video with them, which was Gentle, and I forget the exact title, but it was basically gentle messages of encouragement and reassurance from Spirit, and they just did an amazing job. I will have that reading linked down below if you guys want to check it out. But if you haven't heard of Tarot Stack before, they are an online shop that carries a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks. Their collection is always growing, and you can browse all different styles of decks from different creators all in one place. I love what Tarot Stack does for our community. Not only do they make these decks easier to find so we can benefit from their messages and create a platform for indie creators, but they also fund indie tarot and oracle deck projects. So 50% of their profits go towards creating, printing, and publishing and marketing indie decks so that they can get out there into the world, and those of us who need their messages can find them. They have already had a few Tarot Stack original published decks, which I'm so proud of them. I love them so much. So if you guys want to check out this bundle, I'm going to have it linked down below. I will also link the individual decks if there's one in particular that you resonate with, and you can look at all of the cards in each deck on Tarot Stack's website. You can also read my personal commentary on the bundle, my thoughts on it. And if you do want to get the bundle, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. So Thank you very much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me. It's always a pleasure. And let's get into your reading. So we're going to start with the Prisma Visions Tarot. The first thing that we want to see for my group number 1, what should your main area of focus be in the year ahead from whenever you are watching this? Group number 1's main area of focus for the year ahead. So we are starting off with the 5 of Swords. And what energy should you embody in the year ahead? We have the 10 of Wands. Okay, group number 1, I feel like you do have a lot of hard work ahead for this coming year. With the 10 of Wands here, it feels like labor. It feels like labor that you're doing. But you're doing a lot of work to set yourself up for a better future. Something that will be happening in this coming year is that things that are not right for you and things that are out of alignment for you are really going to be highlighted, and the sort of dissonance is going to be amplified. Like the stresses in your life, the things that are not good for you, the things that don't resonate with your spirit will no longer be this thing that is bubbling under the surface. You know, like, yeah, I don't really feel good about this area of my life, but it is what it is. Or like, oh, this is stressful, but I just have to deal with it. These things will no longer allow themselves to be ignored. They will be blown up such that you have to face them. There are things that need to be cleared away. We have the number 5, which is about major changes, transformation. I do believe that your spiritual team is wanting to bring you new blessings, but there's sort of like a big purge that needs to happen first. We have the number 10, which is about completion. And so I feel like there are some things that you need to let go of, and perhaps that you have known for quite some time, like this is not a fit in my life. This habit, this environment, this workplace, this thing that I commit my time to, this content, these relationships, whatever it might be. You may have even felt for some time, but because until now the discomfort has been manageable, or it's been kind of ambiguous, I feel like you've been able to continue holding on to certain things that are not good for you. It's almost as if an example that's coming to my mind is like, let's say there's something really not that healthy that you eat, and you know that it's not good for you, but you're like, oh, but it hasn't really caused any major problems. Like I still feel fine. So you're kind of able to like dismiss it. I feel like those things that are not good for you, whether it's like physical, energetic, spiritual, emotional, are really going to be coming up in the next year. And it's like you have to confront them. And yes, this is hard work. Like coming to terms with what is not working for you is hard work. And then purging that from your life is also hard work. And keeping it out of your life is also hard work. So I think your spiritual team is just being quite honest with this 10 of Wands. Like, yeah, this is a lot of work. And it's for that very reason that a lot of people don't do it. And they kind of just stay mildly uncomfortable for long periods and ignore the work that they have to do. But not you, group number one. You're going to take on and embrace that discomfort of cutting things out of your life because in the long term, you know it's not good for you. So the year ahead is really about addressing those things that are no longer in alignment, because you know that you deserve greater blessings. So with that in mind, what is your current energy attracting? Group number one, what is your current energy attracting? A couple other messages just coming to my mind is there may be a need to sort of disconnect yourself from like emotions or sentimental attachments, because there might be some things that you have like an emotional attachment to. You know, just going back to that example of like eating something that you know is not good for you. There can definitely be like sentimental attachments, cultural attachments, or some kind of like emotional support that you get from engaging in a habit, even though you know objectively that it's not good. And I feel like disconnecting from that might be important. And also that remember that you are adaptable. Your body is adaptable and your brain is adaptable. So something that might initially feel bad, you can quickly adapt and start to find joy in it and start to actually crave it. So like exercise, for example, if it might feel like shit for the first few weeks, but once your body realizes the benefits, it will start to actually want to exercise. So I feel like there's a message in there about like, don't give up even if it's really tough at first and it feels like you're going against your instincts by doing this, because over time, your body and your mind will adapt and you will start to want those things that are good for you. And of course, like the examples I'm using, like food and exercise, those are physical examples, but this can be the same for matters of the heart. This can be the same thing like for spiritual matters. What is your current energy attracting? We have the 7 of Wands. I wonder, 7 of Wands, there may be certain things that need changing, like certain things that are not working for you that need adjusting, that you or your ego might get defensive about. It's almost like there's some things, some changes that need to be made that like you're not ready to hear. And so your ego, trying to keep you in your comfort zone, will actually react with defensiveness. And maybe this is just for some of you, but I just imagine like if someone were to come up to you and tell you straight, like this isn't working, this isn't good for you, you need to change this, or like you need to drop this, you need to cut this out. It might, I don't know, it's like some of you would take offense or feel like you are being personally attacked. Again, maybe this is just for a few of you, but it's like, I feel like some of you are not ready to hear it or like ready to make these changes. And this kind of looks like someone jumping through hoops to like defend their current way of doing things. The 7 of Wands is about like defending yourself, or I've also seen it as like justifying yourself. And there is a kind of egoic feeling with it because it's related to Leo and the planet of Mars. But it can also show like an uphill battle or doing something the hard way. So by avoiding the discomfort and the work that it takes to make these changes, it might feel easier in the moment, but it's not actually an easier way of living. Like setting boundaries, for example, asserting your boundaries is hard, and people pleasing might feel like the comfortable thing in the moment, but getting taken advantage of and getting disregarded is also hard. So this may be a matter of like picking your difficulty, picking which difficulty you want to deal with. But like this is coming out for your current energies. So your current energy seems to be one of like trying to justify the current way that you do things, or like, oh, it's not that bad, or even getting defensive at the idea of a need to change. And that's just for some of you. What is your current energy attracting? We have the Ace of Chalices. So deep down, like this is personal happiness, inner peace. And I wonder if this is like, oh, that makes sense. I feel like this may be your ego and this is your soul. Like deep down, your soul is manifesting its joy, regardless of what your ego may be saying or doing. Your soul is manifesting joy, and your soul is manifesting its greatest inner peace. And it's for that exact reason that these things that are out of alignment for you are being challenged. That is your soul manifesting your greatest joy and inner peace. And this is just like something that you have to get through in order to get there. I love this. I love to see how the soul's manifesting powers cannot be messed with by the ego, because the soul is so much more powerful. Whatever the ego might be saying right now to remain comfortable, to maintain the status quo, it is no match for the blessings that your soul wants to manifest for you. And so your soul accepts this uncomfortable transition because it recognizes that this is a way to get there. This is your powerful soul. If you guys watch other readings frequently or do your own readings, look out for the Ace of Cups, because I feel like this represents your soul and your higher self, which is so beautiful. Oop, what is that? Oh my gosh. We have the Chariot, which wanted to come out, which is like forward motion, overcoming obstacles. Cancer season may be significant for this group or someone with Cancer placements, whether that's you or someone else. But because this reading is for the next year from when you're watching, there will of course be a Cancer season at some point. So something important might happen in Cancer season, like a turning point in your life. So the next thing that we want to see is, what changes can you make for better results in your life? Group number 1, what changes can you make for better results in your life? What changes can group number 1 make? I'm hearing like slow and steady changes. It's important to not try to do everything at once or do things too fast. We've been speaking about the adaptability of your brain and your body, but they need time to adjust to new circumstances, to new habits, to new environments, to new patterns. And trying to do everything at once is a surefire way of overwhelming yourself, I think. We have the Ace of Wands and the World. Some of you, if you can, if you can do this and if you feel called to do this, a little bit of travel, or at the very least, just getting out of your usual environment and getting a little change of pace could be really helpful. Also, this is kind of a weirdly specific message, but like consuming art or media from other cultures could be eye-opening or could bring you an important download. So like, I don't know, watching a TV show from another country or in another language, or like listening to music from another country or in another language. It's not the act of doing that itself that is helpful, but just like a few of you may have a download somewhere out there for you that is in like international media or art. What changes can you make for better results? I also feel pent-up energy with the Ace of Wands. I feel like it's important to find a healthy outlet for frustrations, because this is kind of going back to an earlier message, but I feel like some of you might engage in habits or activities or whatever it might be that deep down you know are not good for you, but they provide some sort of comfort in the moment to ease stress or to ease frustrations, or to ease, just to ease negative emotions that you have. And so finding an outlet for those could be very helpful. Like writing in a journal, or moving your body, or talking to someone, or like listening to really loud music, or going out in nature and screaming. Like getting some form of not because I feel like what we're doing now is like these negative emotions are in your body and we're coating them with something, when what really needs to happen is they need to be expelled. They need to get out of your body. They need to move. Emotions are alive and they want to move. They don't want to be stuck in you. They don't want to be stagnant. And also, like for building better habits, I feel like taking a holistic approach is really important. And realizing that kind of all aspects of your life are intertwined. So if you're dealing with something physical in nature, like with your physical body, trying to solve it just by focusing on physical things will not give you the full picture. It's like you need to take into account emotional and spiritual things as well, and just see the link between all of them. It's kind of like, if there's a problem, if an individual is going through a problem, you should look at their whole community and their whole society and not just view it as a problem with the individual. So in the same way, if there's a problem in one aspect of your life, it's not enough to just look at that one aspect. It's kind of like you have to look at everything in your life and see what's going on. The same way, I said Cancer season could be significant, Leo season as well. So I feel like between late June to late August will be a transformative time for you. I'm hearing it's a turning point, or it's a point of no return, where you are choosing freedom. What else for group number 1? What can they change for better results? We have the Fool. Wow. There's also Aquarius energy coming through. Cancer, Leo, and Aquarius. Aquarius season is late January to late February, so that could also be an important time, or an Aquarius person could be significant. Yeah, and that's so funny because the Fool, it's like a leap of faith. We're starting on a completely new journey and not looking back. It feels like a new adventure. You are ready to embark on a completely different life. You may be ready to make a 180 in your life. And this is why. It's like, yeah, imagine if you're going on a new journey, you don't want to take every single piece of luggage with you. It'll be too heavy. It's like we don't want to bring all this baggage with us in this next chapter of our journey. We want to travel light so that we can be free. We don't want to worry about all this baggage. So it's like your higher self is calling you to do this work that may feel heavy so that you can lighten your load in this next chapter of your life. The Fool can talk about new opportunities coming in, unexpected opportunities, and your spiritual team is saying, we want you to be able to fully focus on that. We want you to be able to fully focus on the new blessings that are coming in and not be weighed down by this old stuff that you have to deal with. So let's get this out of the way now so that you can fly into this next chapter with no heavy baggage. I'm hearing like being an energetic minimalist would really benefit you at this time. Like looking at any attachments you have, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and asking yourself, do I really need this? Like if I'm this pelican flying into, frankly, my ideal chapter, the next chapter you're flying into is like your ideal life. Do I see this here with me? Do I see myself still in this habit, still engaging in this social circle, still grappling with these insecurities or this baggage? Like, do I want to take this with me into my next chapter, into my ideal life? And there's almost a feeling of just like letting go of as much as you can, and even like stripping yourself down as much as possible so you can see what is really you. Like what is left after all of that. You know, sometimes with the Fool, I feel like it's like we're showing up with all this mud caked off of us and just from like moving through the world. And then it gets like cleansed off of us with a big pressure hose. And then we're new and sparkly again. Like that's what the Fool feels like. It's like this renewal. The number 0, it's this completely clean slate. And I feel like there's a lot of things that you've held on to for so long that it actually feels like you. For example, for a long time, I felt like my anxiety was me, or like my fatigue was me. That's just who I am. And I couldn't conceive of a version of myself that didn't have those things. And I think this is about kind of questioning that and saying, what if this is not me? What if I didn't identify with this? Can I imagine a version of me that doesn't carry that baggage? And what does that look like? This is like letting go of as much as we can so that all that's left is you, your authentic self, and what really matters to your soul. So if we make these changes, what will that look like? If we make these changes, what will that look like? We have the 3 of Pentacles. Oh, this is my favorite suit in the whole deck, the Pentacles. The artwork is so beautiful. And by the way, in this deck, if you lay out all of the minor arcana in a row, like the whole suit of Pentacles or the whole suit of Cups, it makes a panoramic image. And I just love the Pentacles one. So we have the 3 of Pentacles and we have the 5 of Wands. So you will see your life improving, but it will be slow. I feel like this is not something that's going to bring instant results. And so it really does take trust in yourself and commitment in yourself, because it's kind of like if you were doing this just to see instant results, you would quickly get disappointed. Whereas if you were doing it because you're committed to yourself in the long term and you want to set yourself up to live a life that is like long and healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then you can keep going. Just looking at this Three of Pentacles, you know, this is like work ethic, hard work. You can see this person building a brick wall, and they can't do this quickly. They have to take their time and make sure that all the bricks are laid in a stable way. This Three of Pentacles can also talk about collaboration and teamwork. And I'm thinking of how like it takes a village, you know, to improve someone's life. You know, the people around you are important in that too. So leaning on your community for support, asking for help, I think is really important. And also just being mindful of who you are surrounded with. The people you are surrounded with may affect you more than you think. You know, you may think that like, you know, if you're around people that put you at unease or who stress you out, you may think that like, oh, it's not a big deal, or I just have to deal with it, or I can just tune them out. But for some of you, it may affect you more than you realize, or maybe you are fully aware of how others' energy really impacts you. But I do see you in the future having I'm hearing strong and dedicated, like a strong and dedicated support system who really go the extra mile and take time out of their day to help and encourage you and to do concrete things to make life easier for you. And I think that you do the same for them. So this could be you in a really strong family unit. This could be you in a really strong friend group, in a really positive work environment, or all of the above. Like, please feel free to claim all of these. And people who are interested in the long term. And also what I'm hearing, I don't know what the opposite of, I want to say the opposite of exploitative. So I guess nurturing. Like, I see you completely moving away from relationships where it's like, I'm just going to quickly get whatever I want out of you and then move on to the next thing. No, we care about nurturing this bond for a long time. And whatever we produce together will never be as valuable as our humanity. And like, I'll always value you as a person more than like the value of what you create or the work that you do or what you can do for me. Like, this is the type of support systems that you are manifesting. But again, this is something that will happen like gradually. It will happen slowly over time. And with the Five of Wands, I do feel like this is a bit of a realistic card that says like, you know, the temptations could always be there to like fall back into old coping mechanisms. And like, you might still have some, and I want to use big finger quotes for this, but like bad days. But the difference, it won't be the same as before, because when you fall down, you won't stay down for as long. You won't fall as hard, and you'll be able to get back up and keep going. So like, the lows won't feel as low. There will still be stressful situations. There will still be times where maybe briefly you fall back to your old ways, but that's okay, because humans don't travel in a linear fashion. And I feel like you're never forever healed or permanently improved. Like, you could be the king of self-improvement and healing, and you're still gonna fall off sometimes. And like, that has to be okay. And I feel like the more okay you make that, the quicker you can get up, because you won't fall into that trap of like beating yourself up or thinking that all of your effort was a waste or something like that. So, you know, I think the most important thing is to lean into like your newfound peace, and don't be afraid of going back to the way things were, because I promise you won't. Like, even if you had a bad day, you're gonna get back up and it's gonna be okay. So for the last part of this reading, we are going to get some messages from your higher self, from your inner wisdom. Let's put it like that. Messages and advice from your inner wisdom. Group number 1. That's a lot. Your inner wisdom is always talking to you, no matter how strong the voice in your head might be. Your soul is always talking to you. Your body too. We have wash over. That's so funny because I had that image of like being cleansed with a hose, letting something wash over you. There is a feeling of you being cleansed. We have nature analog, which this is one of my favorite cards in the deck as well. Basically, the gist of this card is like getting off of social media. Temporarily or permanently, that is of course up to you, but I feel like at least a temporary break might be beneficial. Yeah, and then we have release. So definitely a lot to let go of, a lot to release. Yeah, this is very much about getting off of the internet because especially like social media, it's literally designed to hijack your mind, to make you feel like shit, to leech your attention and your energy, to get you addicted. It can really mess with your brain if you're not careful. I don't want to completely bash social media. That would be hypocritical because I am on it myself. And I do think that it's like I've met some of my best friends through social media, probably most of them actually. And I do think it's a beautiful place to connect, to be inspired, to collaborate. But I feel like the makers of these apps don't necessarily have our best interests at heart. It is more so how much of your attention can we get and how hooked can we get you. And it can really mess with your mind and your self-image and your perspective on what really matters. And just getting off of that for a while and reconnecting to your IRL connections, your real life connections, getting connected back to nature, listening to your body rather than listening to the advice of thousands of strangers, removing yourself from the agitation of seeing people argue about stuff that at the end of the day is not important to your life personally, I think will be very beneficial for you. I want to read the passage for wash over and just see what it says. Let's see where she is. Oh, here. So wash over starts on page 64. Pages 64, 65, 66. Those numbers could be relevant to you. So the insight. Sometimes there's not much to do except allow emotions to wash over us, move through us. Exactly. We become more or less a vessel or conduit for experience rather than a dam blocking a rushing river. Emotions are visitors. No feeling is ever final, and there are several emotional states we move through on any given day. If we were to get stuck in any of these for a long period of time, even if they were considered to be positive emotions like excitement or jubilation, we'd not be flowing healthfully throughout the wide spectrum of feeling. This is especially true if we expect ourselves to stay on the love and light side of some self-imposed binary, only allowing ourselves to be and feel positive emotions. Ugh, I love this guidebook. Getting stuck in any emotional state is a freeze response. It does not always overactivate the dorsal vagal nervous system. But when it comes to high tension emotions such as anger, if this state is prolonged and stays with the switch flipped on, it can have negative consequences on our health long term. Just a note before we continue. Another note about social media is that, the algorithm does not care about your well-being. It shows you things based on what it thinks you will engage with. So sometimes the algorithm will show you things that make you angry, because a lot of the times people engage with the posts that make them angry. And you can see this a lot on Instagram, where like the top comment will be some bullshit. And it's at the top because then everybody jumps in to argue with that person. And so the algorithm says, oh, this comment is getting a lot of engagement. It's starting a conversation. It's keeping people on the app. So I'm going to put this nasty ass comment at the top. And then seeing that really impacts our mental health. So it's like the algorithm is literally benefiting off of your responses, and it doesn't care if they're good or bad. Anyway, your question is, how do you feel about powerful emotions moving through you? Do you try to control them, repress them? Your wise body task. Take stock of your emotional landscape right now. If it is helpful, journal some words that come immediately to mind, even stream of consciousness writing, where you are in less cognizant control of what you're writing, just letting the utensil do its thing, allowing whatever words to spill out. You can do this with speaking too. I personally prefer stream of consciousness speaking, and I'll just like blab to myself in the shower. But if you want to write, that's also good. Naming our emotions can be very helpful in fearing them less. Yes, the next time you feel a big swell of emotion arise, take a deep breath and utilize the journaling you did by naming the emotion out loud. Say to yourself, I am feeling insert emotion here right now. It is totally valid and natural to be feeling this emotion. I will let it visit for however long it needs. I will not be an impediment to its journey. And the mantra is, no feeling is final, and I allow all of my feelings to flow through me freely. I love this book so much. I love, an oracle deck dedicated to our body and our nervous system. Mwah, I love it so much. And it's so accessible to anyone, regardless of how spiritual you consider yourself to be or how far along you feel you are in your spiritual journey. Like, anyone can benefit from these messages, and I'm a sucker for some practical spirituality. So anyway, sorry for all my little interjections. I love that passage, and I feel like it just confirms so much of what we've spoken about, of not like hiding your emotions or covering them with a blanket, but letting them out, letting them move through you. Think of your emotions as little travelers who are just passing through, and you don't have to identify with them if you don't want to. You don't have to see them as like a moral evaluation of yourself. So group number ones, those are all the messages that we have for you. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. I hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. And thank you so much to Tarot Stack once again for allowing me to collaborate with you. Thank you so much to the creators of these beautiful decks. I'm going to have the bundle linked down below, which, remember, you can get 10% off with the code KINO. If there's one deck in particular that you want to check out, I will also link the individual decks down below. And you can see all of the cards in the deck as well. Please take good care of yourself. Stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release linked down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, your body, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number twos. So if you guys chose the honey calcite, this is going to be your reading. Just in case you didn't see it in the intro, this is the full list of the reading that we're going to do today. I won't read through the whole thing again, but feel free to pause the video if you wanted to read through this and just check out what we are going to be looking at today. But without further ado, let's get started. So these are the decks that we're going to be using. We're going to start off with the Prisma Visions Tarot. Then at the end of the reading, we're going to pull some cards from the Your Wise Animal Body Oracle. And together, these two decks make the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle, which I've curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. It is our tradition to do a little seasonal bundle for each season of the year. I think this is the second time we've done winter, and I'm super grateful for all of our collaborations. This has to be one of my favorites. If you guys aren't familiar with Tarot Stack already, they are an online shop that carries a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks. Their collection is always growing, and you can browse all different styles of decks by different creators all in one place. And I love working with Tarot Stack. I love what they do for our community, not only providing a platform for these indie creators to be more easily found by those of us who need their messages, but they also fund new indie tarot and oracle deck projects. So 50% of their profits go towards creating, printing, publishing, and marketing the decks to get them out there into the world, so that those who need their messages can find them. So I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below if you want to check it out. You can also see my own personal commentary on the decks, and I will link the individual decks as well. If there's one in particular that you resonate with, you can look at every card in the deck on Tarot Stack's website and see how you are vibing with it. But if you would like to get this bundle, you can get a 10% discount with the code KINO. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack. It's always a pleasure to collaborate with you, and I'm so excited to get into it. This is our second video using this bundle. I did another one last month, which was Gentle, and I can't even remember the title, and I messed it up in group number 1 too. But basically, it is gentle messages of encouragement and reassurance from Spirit, and this bundle did an amazing job with those messages. I will link that video down below as well if you guys would like a cozy pep talk from Spirit. But today we are looking at your energy, what you're currently attracting, what energy you can embody to attract better results. So the first thing we want to see is what should your main area of focus be for the coming year? So for the next year, from whenever you are watching this, what should your main area of focus be? There is a visual coming to my mind of a deer, so that could be an important spirit animal for you. What should group number 2's main area of focus be in the year ahead? We have the Ace of Wands. And the Empress. Oh my gosh, this is such exciting energy. The Ace of Wands and the Empress. This is creativity written all over it. Like, I was already gonna say when the Ace of Wands came out, like, there's a new creative journey we're embarking on, or a new significant creative project that we're starting. And then literally, like, the goddess of creativity, the Empress, comes out. So yeah, a lot of you are encouraged to tap into your creative energies for the next year. Another thing that I wanted to say with the Ace of Wands, this card to me feels like bringing the spark back into your life, like bringing back your zest for life, bringing back your mojo. So for those of you who feel like maybe life has gotten a little bit dull, a little bit lackluster, this is all about bringing that color back to your life, that excitement, that fun. That is what the next year for you is all about. You may be called to go into more of like an adventure seeking energy in the next year. You are being encouraged to try new things without putting the pressure on like, where is this gonna lead? What is gonna come of this? Is this gonna be a productive thing to do? Is this gonna be a practical thing to do? Kind of suspending all of those judgments and just saying like, I'm gonna step into a new experience and I'm gonna have fun and it's gonna be awesome. Like putting the focus back on exploration, experimentation, pleasure, and also allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to not know where it's going to lead. Like that's kind of the whole point of it, an adventure. Like you don't know where you're going and it's just fun. So seeing life more as an adventure, I think will be an energy that you step into through the next year. But I'm seeing you, like for some reason, trying different foods is coming up. Trying different foods, exploring different places, like even in your own neighborhood and in your own city, just like exploring different places. You could very well be traveling if that is something that you want to do, and also trying your hand at new activities, whether that is through going to a class or just trying something by yourself. I feel like exploring your talents and exploring different ways of expressing yourself creatively is going to be a theme for this year. Also kind of diving into new genres that you haven't really explored before. So maybe there's like a genre of music or a cuisine that you haven't tried before. Going into new territories is a big theme. And I do think that you are going to be very creative in the next year. If you feel called to a creative career or any sort of creative path, this is a huge confirmation that you are meant to do that. It's going to be a beautiful journey of self-discovery for you. And it's also a really excellent way for you to share love and to share your heart with the world. I even feel that this Empress card is confirmation for a lot of you that you can make a living or create abundance for yourself through these creative endeavors. The Empress is a beautiful manifester. She manifests in an effortless way. Like she lets it just emanate from out of her. So this is going to be a big year for manifesting for you as well. So I guess when it comes to your focus, it is like creativity and adventure. That is so fun. I love that. And pleasure as well, because the Empress, she's Venusian. She's sensual. She likes the pleasures in life. She likes beauty. She likes love. She likes art. Also focusing on self-love, but more particularly recognizing the beauty that you have, recognizing your inner beauty, recognizing your outer beauty, feeling confident in your beauty. This could be a year where you start to feel really like comfortable with your appearance and confident in your body. And you could also be expressing yourself more through fashion, or like expressing yourself more through aesthetics and visuals. Okay, so with that in mind, let's see what your current energy is attracting. What is group number 2's current energy attracting? Wow, group number 1 got this same card in the exact same position. 7 of Wands. Okay. And the High Priestess. So we have the two divine feminine queens here, the Empress and the High Priestess. So your divine feminine energy may be really calling to you. Group number 2, I would look out for repeating numbers like 222, 333, or like 23, 32. It's so interesting how I felt called to talk about the effortless nature of the Empress's manifestation. The High Priestess as well, she definitely makes it look effortless. Like, she doesn't chase, she attracts. The Empress, she doesn't chase, she creates it. She generates it. There's a sort of ease to it. And that doesn't mean that your manifestations don't require work. But I guess what I should say is there's a sense of naturalness to it. You know, like the way a flower just grows and that just comes naturally to it. The way the sun shines and that just comes naturally to it. This is how you manifest. And I feel like in your current energy with this 7 of Wands, you may be holding a belief that is kind of against that, because the 7 of Wands, it feels like an uphill battle. It feels like it's literally fighting for what you want. So this energy really wants to be stepped into, of just letting things come to you or trusting in your ability to create it yourself. You either let it come to you or you create it yourself, but there is no need to chase anything. There is no need to force anything. Yes, there will be work, but it doesn't have to feel dreadful. It doesn't have to feel forced. And that might be something that your mind or your ego doesn't quite get yet. I feel like on a soul level, you do recognize that and you have an intuitive knowing that you can manifest in this way. But your ego may still be kind of fighting that. And this is not a judgment, by the way, because that comes from a lot of conditioning. And it also comes from, it's funny, like this card came out in a very egoic way for group number 1, and it's coming out in an egoic way for this group as well, but differently. It makes sense that we would be conditioned to feel like we have to really like struggle and go through hell and really push to manifest what we desire, because that's kind of glorified. That's kind of glorified in our society, like the hustle. We kind of attach like a moral superiority to those who really fought tooth and nail to get what they wanted. And so there may be a part of you that is even in resistance to getting what you want easily. And I know that sounds weird, because like, why wouldn't you want to create with ease? But it's an egoic thing. I feel like sometimes the ego identifies with that struggle, because it's like, I worked so hard and so I am more worthy. And there may be kind of a subconscious fear of, if I allow things to come easily to me, does that mean people can discredit me? There's a lot of negative narratives around like, oh, they just got that handed to them. They didn't have to struggle for that. You know, like that, if that kind of narrative has gotten into your head, of course you may feel a resistance to just allowing things to manifest easily. And on that note too, I feel like if you say, okay, I'm going to let go and let things flow naturally, and I'm going to let things happen when they're meant to happen, then there's that thing of like, well, you don't really want it. Like if you really wanted it, you would push to make it happen now, and you would just like get on it and make it happen faster. I think we kind of tie it to our like, how hardworking are we? How disciplined are we? How much do we want it? Can we be credited for our success? which is very like, that's a very masculine thing, no? Like, I'm gonna go out in the world and manipulate the world and make it move the way I want it to. Whereas the feminine's like, I don't need to do that. Like, I'm just gonna vibe and naturally let what is meant for me come to me, because I trust that what I want is what is meant for me. And I'm gonna work, but when I feel inspired to do so. Like, I'm not gonna go against my nature. Like, to say, it's a contradiction to say this is meant for me and I must go against my nature to have it come to me. The sun doesn't go against its nature to shine. That literally is its nature. So yeah, it's tough. Like, you have to go against what your ego has been conditioned to believe, like, makes you worthy of blessings or worthy of successes, to say like, I'm gonna commit to acting in my nature and letting what's meant for me naturally flow to me. So your current energy may be a little bit in resistance to that, which doesn't mean that you won't manifest what you desire, but these beliefs might just make it unnecessary. They could either make it unnecessarily hard for you, or when things happen easily, it could bring unnecessary like feelings of guilt or unworthiness. All right, so let's see, what changes can you make for better results? Five of Chalices. The deck just got a little bit messy, which I'm gonna make a mental note of. And we have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, just as I was shuffling, the cards got like messy in my hand. I didn't drop them. It was just kind of hard to like hold on to them. What stands out to me about this Five of Cups in particular is that usually in most decks, there's a feeling of these cups spilled or these cups were dropped, like by accident, and we're crying over the spilled milk. In this card, it looks like this person is like purposely dropping the cups into the ocean. Like, I don't want these anymore. I don't need these anymore. And intentionally holding on to what they do want. The King of Pentacles, this really feels like empowering yourself. And let me gather my thoughts. What I need to start by saying is that when you start expressing yourself, when you embark on this new journey and you start creating or you start putting out your work, you are going to get multiple offers. And there's this feeling like there's going to be offers from some individuals or organizations where they kind of try to make you feel like you need them. You need them. Like, they don't really need you, but you need them. And you don't need anyone in particular. That's not to say that you have to do everything alone, but at the end of the day, your talent and your material is the most valuable thing and is your most important asset. Because I'm just getting this image of thinking as well to like how messy the deck got. It was like, how am I supposed to hold all of this? It feels like you're receiving a lot of offers and you don't need all of them. But you might feel compelled to try to take all of them. Especially if you feel like you need them. You need them to propel you forward. But in some cases, it's actually the other way around. It's really important that you believe in your generating abilities. That whatever you want to manifest, you can generate from inside of you, because it will make you less likely to cling on to external offers or feel like you need them, or feel like something went really wrong if an offer falls through. Because I'm just seeing like maybe something fell through and you're like, oh no, that was my chance. That was going to be my big break. And your spiritual team is saying, no, you are your big break. That is something that gets generated from inside of you. And it's like you are the fire, and external offers can come in to feed that flame and to provide kindling, but you must always remember that you are the fire. Like, these offers that you're receiving from the outside, they are not the fire. That's you, baby. Sorry I called you baby, but that's you. And it is a scary thing when someone else can convince you that that fire is coming from outside of you and you must cling on to them to keep it burning. All of this to say, it's important that you know your worth and that you know what you're capable of, and that theoretically you don't need anything outside of you, but you can choose for assistance from outside of you. It's when you think that you need it that it becomes a concern, is what your spiritual team is saying. So be selective and hold on to what you really want. And if something doesn't feel like a good match for you, just set it back to the sea. Even to be considerate to others, because there might be an offer that comes to you and deep down you feel like it's not a good match for you, but you're like, oh, but this could bring me exposure, or this could bring me some success. Taking that, even though you know it's not a good match for you, not only is that a disservice to you, but there may have been someone else out there who was a perfect match for that offer, and now they can't get it because you took it. And that's not to sorry, that kind of felt like a guilting type thing, but just think, if this is not a match for you, you don't need it, and it could be a great match for someone else. So release it back. It's like you caught a fish and you're like, no, this is not my fish. And you release it back into the sea so that someone else can get that fish, basically. And the same way, if you receive rejections along this journey, that wasn't your fish. If the fish got away, that was not your fish. I feel like I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be, because basically the message is just don't feel like you have to say yes to everything because of a lack mentality, because you are the fire, you are the big break, you are the greatest asset. And this is the King of Pentacles too. It's being sure of where you stand, being sure of your capabilities, and not being so easily swayed. I feel like this new version of you that you're stepping into, you can't be manipulated. You can't be convinced that you are anything less. You can't be convinced that you need someone to be successful or to get your magic, because you are the magic. So if you step into this energy, what will the results be in your life? I don't know if this wants to come out. I don't think so, but cards keep like almost coming out and then not falling out. We have the Page of Wands, which makes a lot of sense. And the Three of Cups, which shot out with a lot of force. We have the Page of Wands and the Three of Cups, which feels very much like a reiteration of this energy. The Page of Wands also represents embarking on a new creative journey. And I feel like because this is a page, your spiritual team is saying this is really just the beginning. You still have so much potential to explore, which is really exciting, because even if on your journey you feel like, I'm just going to say as an artist, because I feel like this is a really creative group. Like, if you're like, yeah, I feel like I found myself as an artist, I feel like I've really developed my craft, your spiritual team is saying like, oh gosh, no, like this is just the beginning. Like, you still have so much more brilliant ideas inside of you and potential that you haven't explored yet. And your higher self is like, I can't wait to surprise ourselves over and over and over at what we come up with and what we create. Like, we're going to constantly evolve on this journey. We're going to explore with new mediums. We're going to explore with new genres, different collaborations will like bring out different ideas from us, different sounds, different colors. Like, you have no idea. You are like an infinite treasure chest of inspiration, and we're really, really just getting started. So buckle up for the adventure. I would even say there's a piece of advice to not nail yourself down to one style or to one medium, and to allow yourself to be fluid and to allow yourself to evolve. And that's another thing about, like, the feminine energy cannot be put into a box because it's like water. You can't hold water in your hands. Well, you can put it into a receptacle and force it to take that shape, but you are free. You are free creative energy. You are free feminine energy. You are not in a receptacle. You're just flowing and expanding. And with the Three of Cups, this is celebration. This is also a light-hearted energy, which came out at the very start. Like, the theme for this year is light-hearted. Light-hearted. We're not placing like harsh expectations on ourselves. We are not forcing ourselves into any box. And I just feel like society wants you to fit in a box, algorithms want you to fit in a box, and you don't, and that's just it. And please don't feel pressure if it doesn't feel good to go in that box. Don't feel like you have to contort yourself to get into it. But yeah, another thing with the Three of Cups is that this is friendship. This is like your circle who celebrates your success. So you may be bringing in your soul family. You may be bringing in like a beautiful friend group. These are your soul siblings. And you celebrate life together, and you celebrate your beauty together, and you create a really deep and intimate bond. So embracing this path and making these changes, for a lot of you, it will bring in your soul family. Or maybe they're already around you, and you will recognize through this journey who they are. I have a very strong, I don't know if it's a smell or a taste, but it's like coffee beans roasting. And like, just like deeply roasted coffee, and I don't know why, but maybe you meet up at cafes with your friends and you like work together, or you talk about life, or you're at home and you like brew each other coffee or tea or whatever it is. This is Cancer energy, so it is quite cozy, and there's a feeling of wanting to serve each other, wanting to nurture each other, wanting to make each other feel safe. And this support system is like a beautiful home to go back to after a day of being out and about with the BS of the world and the pressures to be a certain way, the pressures to act a certain way. This group is where you can just like come back and and be completely yourself. I'm also tasting like pickled jalapenos right now, which is very specific. But anyway, let's get into your oracle. So now we are going to get some messages from your inner wisdom for anything else you need to know. In terms of zodiac signs that are relevant to this group, Cancer and Libra are coming up. So a person with Cancer and Libra placements could be significant. It could even be like a Libra sun, Cancer moon, Cancer sun, Libra moon, or any combination like that. It could be you or someone else. It could also be that the period between Cancer and Libra season will be significant for you. So this reading is for the year ahead from whenever you're watching. So of course that time frame will come up within the next year. Late June, let's say the months of July, August, September, October could be an important time. I know that's a big window, but okay. Messages from your inner wisdom. We have mindful movement. Daydream. And void. Okay. All of these cards together are really giving a feeling of slow living. So that could be a piece of advice from your inner wisdom, could be to embrace slow living. If you are able to do that in your current stage of life, or at least like to learn about it or to set the intention to move towards this lifestyle. Understanding, of course, that it's a privilege to be able to live slowly and to practice mindfulness. But I feel like ultimately this is where your higher self is wanting to get to and is maybe letting you know this is a place that you can get to. This is a kind of life that you can live, like practically that is possible for you, but also that you can give yourself permission to live this way. Like with void right away, I thought about creating space in your days, creating space in your schedules where nothing goes into it. It's funny, I just saw a post recently and I forget the exact wording of it, but it was basically like a pro-life tip for adults. Never tell anyone when you have a day off. And that's such a vibe because like as soon as you make it known that you have time, it's gonna get filled with something. Or, I mean, obviously you don't have to, but the pressure will be there. So really like creating time for nothing in your schedule or giving yourself time to do things more slowly. If you pack less into your day, you can do things more slowly and you can be more present. I feel like that's what mindful movement is talking about as well. And honestly, just giving yourself time to daydream and to spend quality time with your imagination, with your higher self, with your body. It's sometimes hard to get inspirations and to go into your imagination and visualization practices when your days are lined up with like task after task after task. I feel like your inner wisdom is wanting to drop some tasks. And again, I know that that's not always practical or possible, but I believe that you can get to a place where you are able to do that. I feel like deep down you are meant to and can live this more kind of slow and mindful life. And This will also be conducive to more creative ideas coming to you, to being less stressed, and also extracting joy and passion out of everyday activities. When you have to rush through activities, or when they become just another item on your to-do list, it can quickly suck the joy out of it. So this is the energy that your inner wisdom is wanting to get back to. I'm going to... Let's read Daydream. I feel called to read Daydream from the guidebook. So she is... Oh, here she is. Daydream is on pages 81 and 82. So those could be relevant numbers for you. The insight. One of the magical aspects of the mind is its ability to conjure images, ideas, fantasies, and potential outcomes that please and excite us. Daydreaming is a vital and healthy part of the human experience and can be calming to the nervous system depending upon how it is employed. The question is, do you find yourself drifting into daydreams? What are they usually about? Daydreams could also be a place where you receive downloads about your journey or about what you truly desire, in addition to creative ideas and inspiration. Some of you, a message that came through when I was reading that as well is like, some of you may be reclaiming or repairing your relationship with daydreaming and with your imagination, especially for those of you who growing up were often like in your own inner world, and maybe you kind of got like scolded for that. I don't know if that's the right word, but if people were like, oh, you're always off in the clouds, or like you can't pay attention, like maybe you got in trouble for not paying attention because you were daydreaming, and so now you've associated daydreaming as like being a bad thing or as like not being present. But it's actually a beautiful way to spend quality time with your inner wisdom, with your higher self, with your subconscious. Of course, like this guidebook says, depending upon how it is employed and the time and place, it can be... Oh, I have to change the battery. 1 second. Okay, we are back. So yes, like the guidebook says, it depends on how it's employed and the time and the place, but I think that daydreaming could be a really beneficial practice for you. So those are all of the messages for my group number 2s. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you, and thank you so much to Tarot Stack for collaborating with me once again. Thank you so much to the creators of these decks. I love them so much. Like I said, I feel like this is one of my favorite bundles so far, and I hope that you guys liked the bundle and that you will check it out. There's going to be a link down below to the bundle where you can see my personal comments on it. There's also going to be links to the individual decks, so if there's one in particular that you resonate with, you can get a better look at it and see all of the cards in the deck. But if you do like the bundle, remember that you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm going to have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one. And you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video. That is an original song. I will also have my latest release linked down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really appreciate having you here, and I'm sending so much love to you, to your higher self, to your body, your wise animal body. I'm sending love to anyone who appeared in this reading, directly or indirectly, your beautiful soul family, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. I just saw 222, by the way, which that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't changed the battery and reset the camera timer, which I always think that kind of stuff happens for a reason. And that was one of the numbers we said to look out for, repeating 2s and also repeating 3s. That could actually be a sign of your soul family, because we were just talking about them. But yes, I'm sending love to you and all of your loved ones, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi, number 3s. So if you guys chose the Azurite, this is going to be your reading. Just in case you didn't see it in the intro, this is the list of everything that's going to be covered in the reading today. I won't read through the whole thing again, but feel free to pause the video if you just wanted to read through and see what we are getting into today. But without further ado, let's get started. So these are the decks that we're going to be using for your reading. We have the Prisma Visions Tarot and the Your Wise Animal Body Oracle, and together these decks are the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle, which I've curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I am so excited to be doing another seasonal bundle with them. And this is actually the second video that we are using this bundle in. The first one was messages of encouragement and reassurance from spirit. I will link that video as well if you guys want to check it out and get a little gentle pep talk from spirit. But today this is all about your energy and what you're attracting. If you guys have not heard of Tarot Stack before, they are an online shop that features a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks. You can browse decks of all different styles from different creators all in one place, and their collection is so beautiful, so diverse, and is always growing. They're always adding new decks to the site and featuring new creators. I love what they do for our community. Not only do they provide this place where we can easily explore and find decks that may speak to us and provide a platform for these creators, they also fund new indie tarot and oracle deck projects. So they help independent creators get their deck printed and published and marketed, sent out there into the world so that those who may need their messages can find them. I'm super grateful to be collaborating with them again. I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below if you guys want to check it out. You can also see my own personal comments that I have on these decks and how to use them over on Tarot Stack's website, so that link will be down below. I will also link the individual decks, so if there's one in particular that you find is speaking to you, you can take a closer look at it. You can actually see all of the cards in the deck on Tarot Stack's website. But if you do resonate with the bundle and you would like to get it, you can get a 10% discount with the code KINO. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack. So without further ado, let's get started. We're gonna use the Prisma Visions Tarot first. And the first thing that we wanna see is, what should your main area of focus be for this upcoming year? So the next year from whenever you are watching this. What should your area of focus be? We have the Devil. And what energy should you embody? Ooh, King of Wands. Okay. So what this looks like to me, group number 3, is that you are preparing to step into a higher status. The Devil is related to Capricorn energy, Saturn, the 10th house. You are propelling upwards into like a higher status. You could be stepping into a position of power, into a leadership role. You could be gaining fame or recognition. There's just a feeling of you going up and you are gaining more visibility and more status and also more authority, which it could be authority over like people if you are stepping into a leadership role. But more so, I think it's that you are gaining authority in your field. So you would be someone that people go to for the expertise, for the answers. Like, oh yeah, group number 3 knows what they're doing. They're the expert. They know what they're talking about. If anyone can speak on this topic or like what's going on in this field, it's group number 3. Like, that's the kind of authority that you're gaining. So you are becoming someone powerful and influential. You're being prepped to step into this role. Because the other card that you have, you're literally a king. Like, you are the ruler. You are on top, so to speak. So what we're working on right now with the devil, I think, is getting our mental health in a good place. So one way I can interpret this devil card is working through limiting beliefs that may make you feel less worthy of being in this position, that may give you a sort of imposter syndrome when you're in this position. I don't necessarily think that having insecurities and limiting beliefs will like block you from stepping into this position of power, but they would certainly make it an uncomfortable position to hold. Because if you're sitting in a throne and the whole time you're like, I don't deserve to be here, I did not earn this position, like someone else should be here, not me, like so many people are better than me, everybody probably thinks I'm a phony, everyone's probably thinking that I shouldn't be here, like that is just going to make your experience on the throne miserable. And so it's like we have to work to getting into a good place so that when we do step into that throne, we can do so with confidence. We can acknowledge our own capabilities and acknowledge our own worthiness, because that allows us to serve better in that position. That allows us to really take command in that position, because from a high position, you can do great things. You can inspire others, you can lift others up, you can provide sustenance and support to others. Like, you can do wonderful things, but the first step is believing in your qualification to be there, which is super important. So you're being prepped in this way, like building up your confidence, and it feels very solar plexus-y. Like with the solar plexus, I always feel this feeling of like, I deserve to be here, and like my voice matters in this field, and I deserve to take up space. People want me here, like that kind of thing. The other interpretation of this devil card is, and maybe this is just for some of you could be entering into a field where it just has a way of bringing out people's ego and bringing out like some of the uglier parts of people. Like, for example, competitive spirit, like trying to assert that, oh, I'm better than you because I have more money than you, or like feeling like you have wanting to control other people. It may be a field where it kind of brings out people's vices or brings out people's materialistic desires or superficial desires, like money, power, substances, could even be like sexual stuff. Like, just for some of you, take that if it resonates, but I feel like there could be a lot of people who step into this field and like egoic desires or superficial desires or like competitive desires get tempted out of them. So like if they're not in a good place with themselves and they're like, I don't need all this mess to prove myself or like to have a good time, they could really get swept away. So it almost like what your spiritual team is working with you on right now is like getting you in a really good and stable place where you feel super confident in your abilities, you feel super good within yourself, and like you would not take the bait to feel bad about yourself. Like, so that you can step into this high position with confidence. Very interesting. Once you're in this position, you will feel a lot more freedom and flexibility in your life, and that you can really do things the way you want to do them. Because I feel like you don't have anyone telling you what to do. So with that in mind, what is your current energy attracting? The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man and the Nine of Wands. Okay. This is an energy of holding on. And you know what's so interesting? In the Minor Arcana, 10 is the number of completion. So 9 feels like near completion. It feels like you're almost there. It feels like you're on the brink of a breakthrough. Like in the final stretch, but it hasn't quite come yet. And then something that I was going to say with the Hanged Man is that this is the card that comes before death. And death also represents like a major transformation, but one that there is no going back from. You know, once you die, you cannot undie. So it's kind of like you're going into this transition in your life that you either can't really change your mind, like there's no going back, or at least it would be very difficult to go back. I guess an easier example of that would be like if you sold your house and moved into a new one, you can't just be like, I changed my mind and ask the buyer to give you the house back. At least I don't think so. but something like that where going back is not so easy. And then of course, that is very scary. And there's also an element of the unknown. When you're facing death, you don't know for sure what's on the other side. Like that's why humans are so afraid of it, because you're stepping into the unknown. And you know, we know that there's another journey and that there's a rebirth, but we don't know what it is going to be or what it is going to look like. I just saw 1212 when I looked up at the camera, and the Hanged Man is the number 12. So I feel like that could be an important number for you guys. You could have like a significant planet in the 12th house, or like a strong 12th house influence or strong Piscean influence. But yeah, this is the energy that you're currently in. It's like you're right on the edge of this transformation, which I think will allow you to step into this, like this energy, this high position of power. But you may be feeling apprehensive about it. Some of you could be just standing on the edge. You're like, I know I need to step into the unknown. I know I need to like move on and release this old chapter, release my old self, but I'm still kind of scared of the unknown. For others of you, you could be held where you currently are by divine timing. That could also be a way to interpret this, where you can feel that there's a breakthrough on the horizon, but you're still in the final stages of your old chapter because there are loose ends to tie up. There are still some lessons to learn. But with the Nine of Wands here, I feel like for most of you, it's like there's something that you have to let go of, even though it didn't reach completion. And that's hard for you because there's a feeling of like, it's hard to let go of how far you have come. It's like you were working on something and you already built it up to a certain level. And deep down, you know that to move into this next chapter, you kind of have to start over. And so your mind is like, no, like I'm going to lose all of this progress, which I do think is kind of an illusion. And that's not to say that you haven't built up something significant and you haven't worked hard. I think that you have, but it's an illusion to think that starting anew means that all of this work was a waste, or that all of this work amounted to nothing. It's inaccurate to only view the value of what we've worked on and how far we've come by like the product or the tangible results, because a lot of the value is actually in like the experience, the learning, the personal development, the spiritual growth, the insights that came from that journey. So if you're looking at the value of your work just by like what was externally produced or tangibly produced, then yes, it might feel like a waste, but that is an illusion. That's an illusion of your mind. Just for one example of this, like maybe you got so far down a certain career path or down a certain path of study, and you realize that in order to get to where you want to go, you have to like start down a completely new path. And it wouldn't be accurate or fair to think that all of this time you spent on the old path now amounts to nothing or has gone to waste just because it's not the ultimate path that you end up on. You have gained valuable knowledge about yourself, about life, about work, about the world, about other people. You have grown personally, you have gained spiritual knowledge, you've gained discipline, you've learned how to work more efficiently, you've become a better worker. Like, if you're just looking at it from the element of how much time was spent, or how much physical product was produced, or how much physical resources were spent, then it could look like a waste. So, and the Hanged Man is all about gaining a new perspective. So like there may be something that you're afraid to let go of because you're like, oh, I've already come so far and I don't want that to be a waste. But it's like you have to look at it from a different way and realize that this experience was not a waste. It is actually going to be very valuable as you start on this new path. So I think your current energy may be just kind of apprehensive of that. Let's see what changes you can make to bring in better results. The same way Pisces placements could be significant, Sagittarius placements could be significant as well. You or someone else could have Pisces or Sagittarius placements. We have the Two of Pentacles. Ooh, we have the Two of Pentacles and we have the Moon for changes you can make. That is so interesting because the Two of Pentacles came out and I started to get a feeling of what it was trying to say, and I feel like the Moon really confirms that. I feel like immersion is important. The word immersion is coming to my mind. From where you currently are, because I feel like you're on this path here. And your soul is guiding you to this whole other path. And making that leap is scary. But this new path is the one that brings you all the way to the top, that brings you to this position of power, that brings you to the pinnacle of your success. While you are still on this path, you can start trying to immerse yourself in what life would be like on the other path. because the goal is, as the moon confirms, the goal is to start exposing your subconscious to this new path. And it kind of makes sense that like Piscean, oh, this is Pisces again, actually. Piscean and 12th house energy was coming up because that does rule over the subconscious. We want, while you're still on your current path, to start suggesting the new path to your subconscious, because it will start to feel more like a norm, so to speak, more like a norm to your subconscious mind, and more like a possible and feasible reality. And it will gradually start to make the jump less scary, is the way that it's coming through. And maybe there's also like non-subconscious ways that you can start immersing yourself. But it's like through your senses. So let's say, for example, this new path is moving. I'm just going to say moving to Japan because I'm in Japan and it's the first place that I thought of. And you just feel in your soul that this is what you're meant to do, but the current trajectory that you're on is like so far removed from that. And you're like, I know I have to get on a different track, but that's so scary to me because like, what if it doesn't work? Then all of this is going to be for nothing. The solution that is being suggested is to immerse yourself in Japan as much as you can from where you currently are, to start suggesting it to your subconscious mind that it's not such a faraway idea, that it's not such a crazy thing. And it's really not, because no matter where you are in the world, you're on this little tiny speck. You're right here and Japan is right here in this example. Of course, it can be anything. I'm just using it as one example. So this might look like learning the language, immersing yourself in the language. It might look like watching videos or movies or documentaries or TV shows from Japan, or just having like ambient on YouTube. There's videos of people just walking through the streets and like, they just have, I feel like sometimes people live stream it like in 4K. They'll just be like walking through the town and you can see the scenery. Or like watching content of people who have done what you want to do. Any way that you can just surround yourself with like stimuli of the new path, it will start to become more normal to your subconscious rather than this like crazy, overwhelming, faraway thing. You will kind of start to feel like you are already on the path there. And you are, because you're starting to get your subconscious accustomed to the new environment, and as it becomes more familiar with it and more used to it, like moving towards that path will feel easier. Very interesting. It kind of feels like a manifestation method. So if you do follow this new path, what results will that bring, and what will your life be like? Ooh, the High Priestess. And the Wheel of Fortune. Oh my gosh, 2 major arcana. So for a lot of you, and actually, now that I think about it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 major arcana out of 8 cards. And that's crazy because major arcana make up like less than a third of the deck, I think. Yeah, less than a third. Feel free to correct me if my math is wrong, but it's not that many cards out of the deck. So the fact that more than half of what came out is major arcana, I feel like that's very significant. This transition that we're looking at is very clearly divinely guided, and it's to help you step into your higher calling. Like, you are meant to be this King of Wands. You are meant to be in this high position of power. You are meant to be a leader. You are meant to be like an influential person. You're meant to be someone with high status, and you are meant to sit in that throne confidently. And I think on a soul level, you know this, but it's like fears that get in the way from making that leap. And with the High Priestess here, this feels like all of your intuitive knowing being confirmed. Everything that your soul has been telling you being reflected back to you in your 3D reality. So I know like taking this leap is scary because with your physical eyes, you can't see what is on the other side. But your soul can see it. Your soul knows it. And so what this High Priestess is saying is that when you do take this leap, everything your soul has told you will be confirmed. It will be proven. You will be shown once again that your soul knew what was coming, because your soul is so wise and has a higher perspective from you. And then with the Wheel of Fortune too, this feels like fate working in your favor. It also feels like things accelerating in your life. So most of you, all of you, I think, are getting out of like stagnation, getting out of feeling stuck. Life is finally speeding up for you. Life is finally moving in your favor. This feels like the universe working in your favor. This is such an exciting energy. And this also makes me feel, because the Wheel of Fortune kind of feels like surprises. So it's like, yes, you will get all of the blessings that your intuition has told you about, but there's also a lot of surprise blessings that you don't see yet that will be coming your way. And there's our number 10 of completion that we were waiting for. Because right now where you are, like, you're almost at completion. You're almost at this breakthrough with the 9. And so this 10, I feel, is confirming the breakthrough, and it's confirming you moving up. And also, I love that the High Priestess is walking. It's like you are stepping into your destiny. You are answering the call of your destiny. Like, yes, this is your destiny, but destiny is not something that just happens to you whether you like it or not, but it's something that keeps calling to you and keeps calling to you. And you have to choose to step into it. This is talking about you like stepping into your life purpose. And finally, I guess for some of you it is like finally, like something you've been searching for, but finally feeling that certainty of like, I know that this is what I was meant to do, and it feels so good to do the thing that I was made for it and to serve the world in the way that I was meant to serve the world. And again, like the solar plexus is coming back to me, just that full confidence of knowing that you're where you're supposed to be, and that you're meant to be here, and that you're wanted here, and that you're making a difference here, and that you can really stretch out and take up all the space and soar as high as you want. That is what you're moving into. So I want to say as well, the months of December and January could be significant. So this reading is for, the year ahead from whenever you're watching. So there will be a December and January at some point. That time frame, those 2 months could be really important. Okay, we're going into the Oracle deck now, and we're going to get some words from your inner wisdom. What does your inner wisdom want you to know? We have attend with awaken, which is your third eye. I'm just giggling because it's like, yeah, your physical eyes maybe can't see what is on the other side of this transformation, but your soul already sees it. You may find that your psychic abilities and intuitive abilities are heightening around this time. You may also be having really vivid dreams or like deeply symbolic and powerful dreams. The moon, it especially in this deck, like the big full moon illuminating the sea, it feels like shining light on the subconscious. So what is usually not seen or understood is now coming up to the surface, and you can fully see it and like fully understand what your subconscious is telling you. And so your subconscious desires may be revealed to you through dreams. What you need, what you don't need could be revealed to you through dreams, and also like hints of where to go next, hints of which way to go to be revealed to you in dreams. If you have, especially pay attention, I'm hearing, to what animals you see in dreams. Like if an animal keeps showing up in your dreams, its spiritual meaning could be very significant to you. This may also be a good time to keep a dream journal, and a time to develop clairvoyant abilities. Like really pay attention to visuals that stick out to you or visuals that come up in your mind's eye. When we're talking about immersing yourself in your new path, doing so visually could be quite powerful. We have boundaries. You may find that setting boundaries could help to dissolve some of your insecurities. So many of the insecurities you're holding may not come from inside of you, but may be conditioning through the people you spend time with, what you see online, or just like the narratives that are floating around in society or in your culture. And developing boundaries and realizing, basically boundaries in this situation is realizing, like, I don't have to entertain that thought. I don't have to let that in. So just because people around me are saying that, I don't have to accept it. Just because people or society is expecting this from me, I don't have to bend to that. Realizing that boundaries are yours is such a powerful thing. Like, I control this gate. I control what gets in. I'm allowed to do that. I don't have to open my door to every person, to every idea that comes my way, to every suggestion that comes my way. That is up to me. And I'm also allowed to change what my boundaries are. I'm allowed to make them softer. I'm allowed to make them more rigid. And we have another, this is the crown chakra. So your higher chakras are wanting to be worked with. Very interesting. We have awaken and unify. I wonder if you are going through a spiritual awakening and spiritual advancement. Your psychic abilities are definitely heightening. And I wonder if, like, you being in this very like high up invisible position, you will be sort of like a catalyst for many other people's spiritual awakening. Oh, that is so cool. It's almost like it could be a rare thing to have a spiritual person or highly aware, like someone who's highly aware of their psychic abilities, to be in this kind of position. That could be like a game changer for the world. Oof. Okay, which one do I read? Let's read the chakras. I especially feel called to this one. Here we go. The 7th chakra. So this is on page 36, 37, 38. So those could be relevant numbers for you. the insight. The seventh chakra, also known as the crown or the Sahasrara, is located at the top of the head. It is usually symbolized by 1,000-petaled lotus flower, which represents the unfolding of infinite consciousness. When aligned, this chakra helps us feel unified with our environment, other people, and the world at large. It connects us with whatever our notion of God happens to be it religious, spiritual, or any combination of the two. We feel less separate, we feel more oneness. We may feel gifted with foresight and knowing. When misaligned, we may err on the side of cynicism. We may be embroiled in doubt about our sense of connection to the universe and our place within it. We may lack trust in God, spirit, nature, or whatever we normally believe in. We may feel abandoned or lost in a spiritual sense. The question is, do you believe in a higher power, something like destiny or fate? Do you believe that everything happens for a reason, or do you believe in randomness, meaninglessness? How does your spiritual self or lack thereof make you feel about your bond with the world? And your wise body task is sit or lay down in a comfortable position. Take a deep breath and imagine it filling your whole body. And each time you inhale again as you go on, imagine the breath filling up the space around you, the room, your home, or wherever you happen to be, out and out until you feel like you've reached the limits of your imagination. Imagine that all of that space you filled with your breath is your love. Everyone in that space feels your love and sends love right back to you. Regardless of their religion, spirituality, or existential preferences, regardless of yours, take note of how the feeling of unity sits in your body. Oh, I love that so much. And the mantra is, I am a part of this universe. I am mindful of any notions of separation I keep in my heart. Oof, as I'm reading this passage, I just feel, I don't even know how to describe it, just this energy that feels good. And it's like moving from my feet and moving up my legs. And then I also feel it going like from the top of my head down to my heart. But then I feel kind of a pain in my solar plexus. So it's like good vibes from the bottom, good vibes from the top. And then we get to the solar plexus and she's hurting. That's how it feels right now. But you know what I'm feeling called to say is like, don't push it right now. It's almost like, it's like when you have a bruise or when you have like, and it hurts to touch it and like touching it could make it worse. There's almost, and of course take this if it resonates, like I don't want to be like telling you what to do or how to heal yourself, but something just came through about like your solar plexus will heal just through you like moving forward and living life. Like solar plexus affirming experiences are on their way to you. So like trying to like do I'm thinking of like doing surgery on your solar plexus right now and like giving it direct like isolated attention right now may not be the best way to heal it. And I'm feeling like a suggestion of holistic healing where like just let her be, let her soak up the good vibes from the other energy centers right now. Let her get love from the bottom, love from the top, and just move through your life and she will heal naturally as you have more affirming experiences. On the other hand, when it comes to your higher chakras, the third eye and the crown, listening to meditative music could be a really beautiful way to enhance their energies. I often like to listen to crown chakra music like while I'm writing Instagram readings or to just prepare for filming. It's just, it really gets me in the zone and it's really calming. Any meditative music that is in the key of A or B, I believe are associated with the third eye and yes, because the crown chakra music I listen to, that's in B. Or, because we spoke about visuals before, visuals that have like blues and purples could also help you tap into your psychic abilities. But these are all the messages that I'm seeing for you, group number 3. So I'm going to end your reading here. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. And thank you so much to Tarot Stack for for allowing me to collaborate with you again. And thank you so much to the creators of these amazing decks. I love them so much. I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below if you want to check it out and see my own commentary on the decks. And remember, you can get a 10% discount with the code KINO on the bundle. If there is one deck in particular that you are resonating with, I'll also have the individual decks linked down below so you can take a deeper look at them and see all of the cards in the deck. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick a card readings just like this one, and you can also vote on topics and suggest the topics for future videos. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I will also have my latest release linked down below, and finally my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, my channel, and anything I do. I really, really appreciate having you here, and I am sending so much love to you, to your higher self, your body, your wise body, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Hi number 4s, so if you guys chose the Agate, this is going to be your reading. So just in case you didn't see it in the intro, this is the list of everything that we're going to be covering in today's reading. I won't read through the whole thing again, but feel free to pause the video and just read through it if you were curious what we're getting into today. But without further ado, let's get into it. So these are the decks that we're going to be using. We're going to start with the Prisma Visions Tarot, and then at the end of the reading we'll pull some cards from the Your Wise Animal Body Oracle, and together these decks make the KINO Tarot Winter Bundle, which I've curated in collaboration with Tarot Stack. I'm so happy to be able to do another collab with them, and this is the second video using the bundle. The first one was gentle messages of encouragement and reassurance from Spirit. I will link that one down below if you would like a little cozy pep talk from Spirit. But today's reading is all about your energy and what you are attracting. If you guys have not heard of Tarot Stack before, they're an online shop that features a huge selection of indie tarot and oracle decks. Their collection is so beautiful and diverse, and it's always growing. They're always adding new decks to the site, and you can browse all different styles of decks from different creators, all in one place. I love what Tarot Stack does for our community. Not only do they provide this place where it is easy for us to explore and find decks that might speak to us and provide this platform for indie creators, but they also fund indie deck projects with 50% of their profits going towards printing, publishing, and marketing independent tarot and oracle decks. So they help these creators get their decks out there into the world to those who may need their messages. So I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below if you want to check it out. You can also see my personal commentary on the decks on Tarot Stack's website, and if there's one deck in particular that you feel drawn to, I'll also have the individual decks linked down below. You can see every card in the deck on Tarot Stack's website, so be sure to check it out if they are calling to you. And if you do like the bundle, you can get a 10% discount using the code KINO. Thank you so much, Tarot Stack, for collabing with me once again. It is always a pleasure. And now let's get started with your reading. So we're going to use the tarot first, and we want to see what should your main area of focus be for the coming year. So the next year, from whenever you are watching this, what should your main area of focus be? I'm just gonna put our agate on a little stand so she's not wobbling. Group number 4. For the coming year, what should group number 4's main area of focus be? Ooh, tiny elephants, which is an original card of the deck, as you can probably tell. It has a question mark on it rather than a number. And what energy should group number 4 be embodying? We have, the 9 of Cups. Okay, so, that's so funny that we got this tiny elephants card. Yes, this is an original card of the deck. Let me actually read this from the guidebook. But the vibe that it's giving me is mystery, like embracing mystery, embracing the unknown. So I do feel intuitively that you may be encouraged to just be open to what life brings you in the next year. It might deviate slightly from what you have planned for yourself. It might deviate significantly. Maybe the theme of this year is learning to be okay with not knowing what's to come, or to be okay with not knowing like how things are going to happen, how things are going to turn out. Let's read our tiny elephants passage. It is so cute. Okay. It's on page 31, which could be a significant number for some of you. 2 tiny elephants trek through the tall grass. The calf holds the tail of its mother as it peers around to ensure nothing gargantuan is hiding just out of view. To the tiny elephants, the grass is a wild world of its own. To the humans above, the grass is only a thought. When you pull tiny elephants in a reading, it asks you to acknowledge the perspective of your situation. Pay attention to the things around you. If your perspective feels like it has grown tired, then get on the floor, stand on a chair, find a new way of looking. You will be surprised how fresh something old can feel when you look at it differently. There is wonder in small things, and there is beauty in understanding another's point of view. Something else that came to my mind when reading that passage is I feel like in this situation, you are the baby elephant and this parent elephant is like your higher self guiding you, or it could be your spiritual team or even the universe guiding you. And the road ahead for the next year does look kind of shrouded in mystery, if I'm being honest. I feel like the universe has some surprises up its sleeve, and this is the universe saying, basically, just trust me. Just like the baby elephant trusts that its parent is not going to put it in danger, is going to lead it to safety, has the baby elephant's best interests at heart. It's like the universe is saying, follow me into this unknown and just trust me that it's going to be good. And like the energy that you're being called to embody is the 9 of Cups. And this is like contentment, happiness, optimism. It's also the fulfillment of your desires. It's like the universe is saying, I may not be revealing to you like what path we're taking and how we're going to get there, but just know that I'm leading you to fulfillment. Just know that I'm leading you to happiness. Just know that I'm leading you to blessings. This is also an energy of gratitude. So I feel like the energy you're being asked to embody is just one of optimism, gratitude, knowing that the universe has your back, knowing that the universe is working in your favor, like just knowing that you're going somewhere good and really committing to that belief. Wow. Okay, let's keep going and see what your current energy is. What is your current energy and what is that attracting? What is group number 4's current energy? Woo! Okay, let's just take all of these. So we have the Fool, we have the 5 of Cups, and we have the 8 of Wands. Yeah, so the Fool in this case, and this is so cool because the Fool is the first major arcana. You know, we talk about the Fool's journey, going through all of the major arcana, and the Fool is the starting point, and it represents like this clean slate, and very much represents we don't know what lies ahead. So I wonder if in your current energy, you may be feeling like you're stepping into the unknown. You may be feeling confused about the next stages of your life. Some of you may be feeling like you don't know where to turn, or you don't know where life is heading. And for some of you, the lack of a plan could be making you uneasy, because I feel like we're constantly pressured to like know what we're doing and know where we're headed, and like having a life plan is equated to like having your shit together and being responsible. And I'm also hearing for some of you in this stage of your life, you might be feeling like, for the first time, I don't really know where I'm headed, and that's like scary to me. The lack of knowing or the lack of control may be something that is scary. For some of you with this 5 of Cups, you've maybe gone through like a loss recently, or something didn't pan out the way that you thought it was going to. I'm hearing like something kind of fell through, or something fell flat, or you have maybe just released something. Like this came up in another group when we were talking about how in this deck, it looks like the person is dumping the cups into the sea. So you may have gone through something recently where you walked away, you ended something in your life, even though you didn't have a plan for what was coming next. And so you might be feeling like, am I crazy for like doing this ending in my life and not knowing what my next new beginning is going to be? And, the number 5, even, it has this feeling of being in the in-between, because it's like the middle number from 1 to 9. So you may be kind of in this in-between phase. You may feel like you're in this like limbo and you don't really know what is coming next. But actually what your spiritual team is saying is this is the perfect place from which to manifest your blessings. Like for you right now, it's like you have a blank canvas, and now the universe can step in and work its magic for you. There's just a feeling of like dumping your previous plans into the ocean and embracing just adventure and embracing, and like I'm feeling uneasy channeling this energy, because I can just hear like, I just saw 1111, by the way. I can just hear like family members and your peers and just society in general being like, yeah, but what are your plans? What are your plans? What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do for the next year? And this energy is all about embracing that, like, I don't know. Like, I'm going to see what life has prepared for me. I've spent all of this time preparing myself for life and showing up for life. And now I'm going to let life show up for me and see. It gives the feeling of like, when someone decides that they're going to take a gap year, like after graduating, they're going to take a gap year before going back to school. And people either are against that decision, or they're like, okay, but you better have a plan for like what you're going to do after that year. Otherwise, that gap year might turn into 2 gap years. And it's like, so what if it does? Like, so what if it does? I think you're kind of maybe unlearning this idea that having a plan is like inherently makes you safer, or like inherently sets you up for a better future. And by the way, I'm not disparaging planning. It is very important, but that doesn't mean that if you don't have one, you're like inherently in danger, or you don't have it together, which by the way, none of us do. None of us know what we're doing in this life. Sometimes the illusion that we have it together is just stronger than other times. But I feel like this is you stepping into this energy of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the next chapter holds. And that is allowed to be something exciting. That is allowed to be an opportunity for the universe to step in and show me the next steps. I'm surrendering control to the universe right now, and I know that everything is going to work out okay. And the Eight of Wands, this is you manifesting like crazy. I'm realizing this is quite a specific energy, but we're gonna keep going with it because I feel like those of you who chose this group need this message. Okay, so what are some changes that you could make? What are some changes that you could make to attract better results into your life? We have the Three of Chalices, which is the Three of Cups. Chalices are cups. And what else? And we have the Knight of Pentacles. It's funny because that expression, there's this expression like slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I kind of felt called to say that. This Knight of Pentacles and Eight of Wands, I feel like is really illustrating that, because with the did I say Eight of, whatever, Knight of Pentacles and Eight of Wands. With the Eight of Wands, there's a lot happening and like things are happening quickly, but it's smooth. It's smooth. It's easy to manage. And this is something I've been noticing in my life recently, because I've been like deliberately trying to do things more slowly. And I weirdly feel like I get more done, which is counterintuitive because you feel like, oh, the faster you go, the more stuff you'll get done. But pushing yourself to go faster often leaves you like frazzled, and you just get unnecessarily anxious and messy, and you start making mistakes. For those of you who, and this is probably the case for other things, but if you've learned to play an instrument, like play a piece on an instrument, playing fast is really fun. So you're kind of inclined to just like dive in and right away try to play it fast, but then you end up making a lot of mistakes. And if you can learn to play it slowly first, then if you can play it slowly, like top to bottom, and you've memorized it slowly and you have the muscle memory, then you can do it quickly. Building that slow foundation just allows you to go smoother. I hope that makes sense. And so I do feel like there is a message to embrace slowness and actually understand that like the smoothness and the familiarity with what you're doing that comes with going slowly, that will allow you to go more smoothly and more efficiently and more mindfully, and ultimately that does get you farther faster. It ultimately does. Like rushing through things often does cause setbacks, and it just causes unnecessary stress. And some of you, there may be, I feel like it's really this feeling of wanting to rush through life, which I feel like a lot of people have. And it's sad. Like, why are we rushing to get to the finish line when we can slow down and enjoy the scenery and enjoy our time here? And the more that I sit with this energy, I'm realizing that for a lot of you, this time that you are in kind of an in-between, this time that you are kind of uncertain about your plan, may actually objectively not be that long. But because you feel a sense of urgency to figure things out and to like rush to the next goal, it might feel like a long time. 6 months, a year, even in the grand scheme of things, is not that long. And I'm just imagining an elderly person looking back on their life and being like, I can't believe that I had my panties in a knot because I spent 1 year like messing around and exploring. Like, God forbid I take a year to just like vibe and explore myself and explore the world, or like God forbid I don't have a plan for 1 year of my life. Oh my gosh, like, call the police, it's an emergency. Like, sorry, that was so cheesy, but like, I feel like that's how you would look back on this time of your life in a more distant future. And you know, I wish that I just relaxed into that slowness more and just enjoyed my time being alive in this life. Like, I really feel the Knight of Pentacles is encouraging you to embrace this slowing down. And that's ironically how you will manifest faster. And the fact that this is a unicorn in this deck, unicorns always make me think of embracing your uniqueness and embracing your unconventionality and realizing that this journey is yours and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be valid. And something that I've learned is, you know, I feel like when you have an unconventional life path, you look around at all these other people who seem to have a conventional one, and you're like, why can't I just be like them? Why can't I just wish to have it together like them? When what you might not see is that those very people who have it together, quote unquote, and who are living a conventional life are actually deep down wishing to have an unconventional one. Like, you always, it's like a grass is greener on the other side kind of thing. Those people who seem to have it together are deep down like wishing for freedom, or wishing like to do something more experimental or creative with their lives. It's just, I wish we can all stop like looking to others' journeys and assuming that that is the better one and that is what we should be doing. This energy is all about embracing the uniqueness of your own journey. No one else is on your journey, and no one else has to be but you. And comparing your journey to someone else's, it's like comparing apples and oranges, truly. And it's also kind of futile because you can never see the full picture of someone else's journey, and so you can't deem that it's the better one to be on or that you should be on that one. You just don't know. And that's what we're getting comfortable with, that we don't know. With this Three of Cups here, I feel like this is so fitting as well, because the Three of Cups is like a light-hearted and playful energy. And I feel like celebrating the more simple things as well. I feel like the Nine of Cups as well is just finding joy in the simple things. And I think in this stage of your life, you're realizing that the things that are the most worthwhile and the things that make you the happiest are like the simple pleasures in day to day. Like that's what it's all about. And you may be starting to prioritize like peace and comforts and pleasures over like big professional accomplishments and status and those kinds of things. That wasn't worded very well, but I hope that you know what I'm talking about. And prioritizing peace in your inner world more than like worldly conquests or like proving yourself to the world. And I think with this Three of Cups, there's also a feeling of you finding like-minded people. I think this is so cool. Like my friend was just talking about wanting to make a podcast that features people who are living unconventional lives, so that, you know, the more we see of that, the more we see people living this way, the less scary it becomes, because it's no longer something that's like weird. It's like making the unconventional conventional. And I think if you see the diversity in the lives that people are living, you realize that there's no right way to live. There's no right order to hit milestones in your life. Like it's so narrow-minded the way we look at it. Like you should reach this goal by this age, and you should, I don't know, buy a house by this age, and you should get married by this age. Like it's all so like arbitrary. How do you know that that's going to fit this individual's best interests and make them the happiest? And anyway, I think this is about finding finding those like-minded people, finding people who are living freely, who are embracing their uniqueness, who are living unconventional lives, and realizing that is safe too. That deviating from the status quo is not like inherently unsafe, or like I feel like there's this like, you can stray from the status quo, but don't be gone for too long. Like, you better get back into that box eventually, or you better make sure you have a backup plan of how you can get back into that box. And unlearning that is hard. But this is like encouragement of how you can stay confident on this path. It's just embracing the slowness, embracing mindfulness, and finding like-minded people. And maybe you don't even have to actively find like-minded people. I feel like they'll just find you. So what results will this bring? What results will these changes bring? We have the moon. That's a lot, but we can take all of them. So we have the moon, the Six of Swords. That's kind of cool, because usually the Six of Swords looks more like this image. It's like a boat traveling, well, of course, boat traveling in the sea. But there's a feeling of moving on. We have Judgment, and then we have the Ten of Swords. All of these, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is so cool. All of these cards have motion in them, and a feeling of moving on. Like, there's these butterflies, which also feels like moving on, because the butterflies is transforming and is not going back. Once the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it doesn't revert back to the caterpillar. It just keeps flying and moving on. So we have the crossing of the bridge, that's moving on. We have the boat, like, heading towards the horizon, that's moving on. We have stepping through this door into the portal, that's moving on. We have this bird flying away, that's moving on. Like, oh, this is so cool. The Ten of Swords also talks about an ending. I have a feeling this is how it's coming through to me. It feels like a person who is saying like, oh yeah, I'm just in an in-between phase right now. Like, I'm just in a limbo. I'm just like trying to figure out my life. But then in that in-between, they find their new life and just like never go back to their old life. So for example, let's say that someone got laid off from their job and they don't know what their next job is going to be. And so they're telling people, yeah, like I don't really know what my future plans are. I'm just trying to like figure out life right now. And during that time, they decide to like go backpacking in another country. And they're like, yeah, I'm just going to go for 2 weeks. And then that 2 weeks turns into a month. And then that month turns into 3 months. And then they start meeting people there. They start making connections. They get a job. They get a visa. Those months turn into years. And now they're permanently living in that other place. It's like what was once just this temporary thing to fill the limbo period, that becomes the new life. And that person just never looks back. And it kind of feels like at first they were like, you know, I don't know, let's say, whatever. They're in country A, they go to country B. And for the first while, they're thinking like, oh yeah, this is only temporary. And, you know, pretty soon I got to get back to country A, got to start looking for my new job. And they keep telling themselves like, yeah, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get back to my old life. Going to go back and look for that new job. Got to get back on track. And, you know, it starts with people asking, when are you coming back? When are you going to come back? And like, people start asking less and less. And it just becomes like, this is my new life now. So if you're feeling like, oh, I'm in a stagnant phase, I'm in an in-between phase, but I'm gonna get back, I don't know. You might, in this in-between phase, find a new life that you really love. That's what this feels like. And with the moon, it feels like you maybe don't see that coming. And even with tiny elephants, it's like, just trust the unknown, trust the uncertainty, because you will fall in love with a new place, or you will fall in love with new people. You will fall in love with a new job. You will fall in love with a new way of living in this off time. And if you had been rushing to get back into the swing of things, you wouldn't have found this. This also feels, it's like spirit carrying you to something new, because spirit is like, I can see how exhausted you are. Wow. Oh, that's so cool. That's such a cool message to end things with. So now we are going to look at some oracle cards for you. We're going to get some messages from your inner wisdom. Messages from, let me move this over here. Messages from group number 4's inner wisdom. We have bear down. Okay, we're gonna have to look at the guidebook for this one, I think. We have rest. So we're embracing rest, we're embracing slowness, we're embracing authenticity, because we realize that our life, your life, is not a performance for other people. Your life is not a bid for other people's approval. Your life is for you. And we have ebb. Ooh, ebb, like ebb and flow, surrendering to the tides of life, surrendering to our cycles. We're not always going like this. We go up and down, up and down. We have periods of motion. We have periods of stillness. We have periods of outward expression. We have periods of introspection and reflection. Just embracing the ebbing and flowing of life. Even this looks like an ebb and flow. And oh, rest, group number 4. Take all the rest that you need. Eat the foods that you like. That is coming through. I have a sensation of eating oily food, which I'm not going to recommend eating greasy food, but there's a certain comfort food that you like, and your body's wanting to like indulge in that. Maybe there's like some healthy fats that your body is needing. I'm not giving nutrition advice. Please take it with a grain of salt. If that might be a confirmation. Let's read this bear down card, because I am not super sure what bear down means. Where is she? Bear down. Oh, here she is. So she is on page 74, so that could be a significant number for you. Okay, medically known as the Valsalva maneuver, this is a method of breathing, although there is no in or out breath involved, where you breathe out with your stomach muscles as you are pushing down on the diaphragm or having a bowel movement. This stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the longest of the cranial nerves. Okay, this is so weird because I didn't know this, but this motion, like when I'm feeling anxious or nauseous, or like when my stomach isn't sitting right, I've just always instinctively done this. Like, I don't know how to say it, but like yeah, I bared down. And I didn't realize like, oh, this is a technique. It's just my body would do it. And I didn't even know what a vagus nerve was. I know now, but I didn't realize that doing that was like a vagus nerve stimulating thing. And that just goes to show how wise the body is. Like, if we just let it do what it needs to do, it knows what to do. And it's so important to honor what your body needs. Rest might be really something that is important for you guys to honor right now, rather than like fighting your need to rest, rather than associating that with laziness. To see your body as something that is honestly wiser than the ego, and your own body is wiser than others' opinions of how you should live your life. And maybe for some of you, rest is something that wants to be honored. So it's like when your body tells you to rest, you respect that. And honestly, that makes your body feel more safe with you. Like it trusts you. When I need something, I know that my brain is gonna give it to me. Okay, let's keep reading this passage. This bearing down stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the longest of the cranial nerves. This nerve is responsible for digestion, heart rate, coughing, sneezing, vomiting, and other important bodily functions. Bearing down can help to restore the heart to a more regular, slow rhythm, especially when caused by anxiety. It feels really good to do it. Try it the next time you find your heart rate up. If you have trouble with the maneuver, there are videos on YouTube on how to perform it. Yeah, highly recommend. And like when I do it, I'm usually like laying down. I'm like doing it right now. And I kind of like push my pelvis forward and like, I'm doing it right now in my chair. I kind of like push my pelvis forward and like put strength in my legs so that they're like extended straight out. And that makes I call him Vaggy, my vagus nerve. My mom and I talk about the vagus nerve sometimes, Vaggy. Yeah, that makes him calm down. So anyway, these are all the messages for my group number 4s. Thank you so much for letting me do this reading for you. Thank you so much to Tarot Stack once again for collaborating with me. And thank you so much to the creators of these amazing decks. It is such an honor to work with them. I love them so much. I'm gonna have this bundle linked down below if you want to check it out and see my comments on it. And remember, you can get a 10% discount with the code KINO on the bundle. If there's one of these decks in particular that you resonate with and you want to check it out, I'll also have the individual decks linked down below so that you can see all of the cards in the deck and see if it's speaking to you. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and I wish you all the best. Please take good care of yourself, stay healthy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like doing that. If you enjoy my content and you'd like to find me elsewhere, I'm gonna have linked down below my tarot reading Instagram, my personal Instagram, my Patreon, where you can watch tons of timeless, exclusive pick-a-card readings just like this one. And you can also decide on topics for future readings. I will link my music channel, which includes the intro song of this video that is an original song. I'll also have my latest release link down below. And finally, my vlog channel and my merch, which features the floating temple that was at the start of this video. Oh my gosh, my battery's dying. If I get cut off, just know that I love you and thank you for watching. But I'm sending so much love to you, your higher self, your beautiful, wise body, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, and all of your loved ones, both here on earth and in the other realms. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.